Hello, welcome to the episode of Motoring Middle East, and today I'm checking out the Ford Edge ST. And if you're thinking, ST, didn't I last see those letters on the back of a Focus? Well, you'll actually be right, because this is also a Ford performance vehicle. Now, regular Edges come with a 2-litre turbo EcoBoost, about 250 horsepower, nothing special but a nice solid family car. Well, this one has a cooking 2.7-litre twin turbo V6. That's the engine from the F-150 that we don't get here, and it's quite a cooker. You got about 335 horsepower and nearly 400 foot-pounds of torque, all hooked up to an 8-speed automatic. Prices for this are around 180,000 dirhams, so it's good value. It comes pretty well loaded, and for that you also get Sport Tune suspension, Sport Tune 4-wheel drive system, big 21-inch wheels, and really big, firm, grippy seats, just like you got in the Focus. So if you're thinking, I've had a Focus all these years, is this the thing for me to upgrade to when I get my family? Well, that's what Ford wants you to think. You also might be thinking, doesn't this performance really sound very similar to the Ford Edge Sport? And you'd be right a third time. The Ford Edge Sport is pretty much the same car as this, but this is slightly faster. So have Ford pulled off a bit of a miracle? Have they infused some of that fighty, really fun, frisky flair that you get in the Focus into the bigger family Edge? Only one way to find out. So what's the Ford Edge ST to look at on the outside? Well, I think quite cool actually. They've got a much more aggressive front grille with this honeycomb black structure and then big ST badge in case you forgot what it was. The lower fascia is very low and very mean now. It's got this sort of black gill thing going, and the lights are even more like, well, spiky Wolverine slashes. I quite like it. Obviously off-roading is minimal now with that clearance, but you wouldn't be thinking of off-roading anyway on these 21-inch wheels, which are actually Continental. Let me see if I can get this. Cross Sport LX contacts. The 21-inch wheels are massive, and they are fully murdered out, as the kids would say. From the side, it looks pretty much like a stock Edge, I guess. Nothing really special going on here. You get to the back, you got another very aggressive bumper treatment with these fake gills, just like a Supra. And just like a Supra, they don't do anything. A big ST badge and meaty twin dual, two exhausts. Yeah, quite a mean-looking family car. I quite like the way it looks. You wouldn't mistake it for a regular Edge, and it's got the sound and the meat to back up that look. But is it worth more than a regular Edge? Well, actually, yes. So the Edge Sport that we reviewed before, which we really liked, was 200,000 dirhams, and this is 180,000 dirhams. So you're getting more options, more features for a lot less, 20,000 dirhams less. So if you're looking for the fastest Edge money can buy, this is the one. Still haven't really answered the question though. Is it a sporty vehicle in the vein of former STs, like the Focus? So on the inside, what have we got? We've got these very aggressively bolstered Edge ST seats, which are similar to the Recaros that you get in the Focus. They're very aggressive. In fact, if you have more than a 36-inch waist, you may struggle to even fit in these things. More on their comfort later. Otherwise, there's pretty much no way to tell. You've got paddle shifters like that, but you do also have paddle shifters in the regular Edge, so there's not much of a difference. It's all pretty much black and very austere in here. Some flashes of chrome and this little carbon fiber thing here, which I'm pretty sure isn't real carbon fiber, but it feels like it. Carbon fiber wrapped plastic, let's call it that. I like the Edge. It's been a handsome dashboard and it's aged really well in the last 3 or 4 years. They also got rid of the gear stick and got instead this rotary dial, which I'm not a huge fan of, even though I have a car with a rotary dial. I'd like a gear stick. What this really does in terms of freeing up space, I'm not sure, because it still takes up a little bit of real estate. You've got an automatic parking brake here. You do not have automatic hold, weirdly. You have your start-stop. Parking, I'm not sure what this is. This is probably for the parking, automatic parking and parking sensors. Fairly deep cubby down here, plus 2 USB ports. Pretty good sound quality, I should point out, from the B&O sound system. 2 cup holders. Pretty deep. We're going deep here, people. And we've got a bin with a coin tray and loads of room and no extra USBs. How weird, no extra USBs. So yeah, I'm not going to waste too much time on these cars. You know what to expect. It's a Ford Edge. If you don't know what it's like by now, it's a pretty unpretentious crossover that gets all the jobs done. However, this one has a bit of pretension. It wants to be a sports car. And can this badge, this big Ford badge here, which they're not shy about, the performance badge in blood red, deliver? Oh, you might have some surprising answers to that question. So I guess this car is trying to answer that age-old question. Can you make an SUV handle like a sports car? A car inherently a higher center of gravity, and just physics are not in its favor. And the answer to that question is no. You cannot make a Ford ST into a sports car, no matter how much the marketing wants you to believe it. So I've been driving around for a few days. It's definitely a quick car. It's definitely a quick car. But there are several issues. And the most egregious of which is these seats are diabolical. Like, I'm not fat, man, but I feel fat. I feel like I need to go to the gym now. It's just not supporting me really down low. I feel squeezed. I feel like I'm sitting on them, so I'm sitting very high. I should be sitting down and low. No matter how much I want to, I can't get low enough. And they grip you really tightly. I mean, I'm a 36-inch waist, but I'm at the upper level at about 5'10". I'm at the upper level. How can that be? If you're a fat fella or, physically challenged, you might not enjoy driving this car. So it's not a very pleasant seat. On the seat alone, I'm dead serious. I couldn't buy this car. That's how bad this seat is. Like, everything else about this car pales in comparison to the seat. Like, I need to be comfortable. I think you need to be comfortable too. Other than that, it's got a nice ST style steering wheel with some contrast stitching. It's got some pedals which are very plasticky. These are actually really metal, the surrounds around the buttons, which are a problem because they get very hot on hot days. AC performance is pretty good. I don't really have anything to complain about on that front. I don't like not having a gear stick anymore. But let's see how it does. Now, if you're wondering why ever take it out to Kalba and throw it around, I don't think it would have done the car any favors. It would have behaved like a walrus and porpoised all over the place, just wallowed. It wouldn't have been very fun, and I would have thrown up. So I'm just doing it on our regular road. So I'm putting it in sport drive. Let's see how it gets off the line. When it hits 4,000 RPM, you start to feel that thrust come in. Gearbox seems to be shifting a little slower than I'd like. That's 120. Makes a nice roar. Makes a nice more intakey noise. The steering is better in sport. It's got a little bit more weight to it. The car feels playful enough. Let's try to call you a roundabout. But the big problem is I'm going over a patch of sand. Might as well not have. There's absolutely no feel from the steering. It's very sure-footed. It goes, but it doesn't have that sort of frisky, like, let's have some fun nature that you get from the regular car. In fact, what it is feels big and heavy, like a missile. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, it's doing a pretty good job on this road here, but it's competent as opposed to playful and enjoying itself. Let me go through another roundabout. I'm doing about 100. I'm going to slow down. Let's see what she can do. Right, chuck it in there. All right, chuck. It's got good grip from the tires. I'll give it that. It's got good grips from these 21-inch Contis, but it doesn't want to do it. And when you put it down into sport, and let's do the tweak. Let's turn the ESP back on again. The regular weighting is terrible. It's really overly heavy, but it doesn't have feel. I want feel. Why is this so heavy? And look how much difference is. Now there's so much more play. Yeah, its car is somehow less than the sum of its parts. You'd think with 335 horsepower car would be. Okay, see, I punch the throttle. It takes a really long time to respond. Let me try it on the paddles. All right, go on the paddles. Okay, paddles. Yep, paddles kind of just shift when they feel like. Okay, here we go. Paddle. It's not very inspiring if that's my look, and yeah, the paddles are pointless, absolutely pointless. Brakes are good. Brakes are good. I like the brakes. Rides okay, nice if you're on very smooth roads. However, if you are unlucky enough to be on a road that has a bit of like corrugation, it can be very stiff. It is quite stiff suspension. That's how they made the Edge handle as well as it does. It sounds like I'm being a bit down on the car. It's because I don't quite understand who it's for. Like, it's not a sports car, no matter how much Ford marketing insists that it is. The regular Edge is a nice, sensible car, and this is still a nice, sensible car with a slightly worse ride and a too powerful engine. and bizarrely good brakes. Who is this car for? Sorry, I had to stop and adjust my cameras because the Edge ST pulled the cameras off. I got such terrible cameras. I need new ones. All right, heading back home, my usual cool down run, and let's talk through this car some more. So if I'm confused about who it's for, it's a bizarrely good deal. 180,000 dirhams, you get a lot of options. You get this B&O sound system, you get a pano sunroof, you get dual zone climate control, you get heated and cooled seats. It's really well equipped. But I can't help thinking that the slower Edge would actually be the better one, which makes me a British journalist. British journalists are always like, get the smaller engine car, get the 1.5 MX-5, don't get the Hellcat. The 6.4 is the sweetest one. The 3 points, actually no it isn't. The 3.6 V6 is not the sweetest Challenger. It's the Hellcat. It's the demon. It's anything with lots of power. Let's try this. See, the sport button makes a lot of difference. It hangs on really gamely. Really gamely. But look how much body roll that was. That's another problem. When you've got that much body roll, the car is not really enjoying itself. I don't know. That much body roll is not conducive to sporty handling. It just means that the car is relying on mechanical grip from the tires, not its own ability. But I like this intakes now. It's all intake, it's coming from the front. The back is actually really quiet. 120, 130, and it's got radar cruise control. It's kind of nifty actually. It's also got some sort of autonomous mode here. Let me see if I can fire it up. So hold on. Yeah, okay, I fired my autonomous mode up. So in theory, yeah, it's found the lines. So I'm indicating, will it stay in lane? Find the lines. Okay, it's found the lines. Right. It's actually doing a pretty decent job. Keep your hands there. It's a lot of these systems are actually coming up to a bus now. Let's see if it slows down. Yep, slowing down. A lot of these systems are actually really terrible at detecting the lines. The Japanese cars, to be honest, are all bad at this, whether it's Toyota, Honda, all of them are bad. But this is actually a pretty good system. Would I rely on it? No. Its weight of the steering keeps coming back to me. I have a little bit of a shoulder injury at the moment. I've got a trapped nerve. This has made it worse. Driving this car is so heavy, and I just haven't driven it, which I suppose is a really bad thing for a car that's supposed to be sporty, that's supposed to make you want to get up and drive. This doesn't do that. So I'm still at a loss for who this car is for. I think it's for people who are basically growing up out of focuses and still want to have something quick and fast. But it's not inspiring. Like, it just lacks that playful edge. That was not even intended fun. But what it does have is fairly ballistic performance. I mean, 5-6 seconds for a big old crossover, fine. Your child will throw up in your back seat. Your wife will leave you for a younger man with less idiotic tendencies. You know, I'm going into my big corner. One last heave-ho of sport. Let's see how it does. Hard. Jesus. You can see it leaning on the outside front wheel. I'm sure the system is... Look at those tires squealing. You know, I drove through here with a RAV4. It wasn't protesting so much. Bad Ford. Yeah, this is not what I would describe as an unmitigated success. I would say, in fact, it's just okay. And the Ford Edge ST is probably the Edge ST. The Edge ST isn't the one that you should get. A regular Edge is a lovely car. Absolutely lovely car, and I recommend it. I have friends who bought one. I have 2 friends who own them. They're great. They're very happy with them. But for once, putting more power into it has not made it better. And on that unsuspected, very surprising conclusion, I draw to a close. Thanks for watching. This is Imtishan. This is Motoring Middle East. Like, comment, yada, yada, yada. And I'll see you on the next one.